Hi everybody, hello and happy new year. It's so good to see all of you guys again and to get a little bit crafty. I hope you've had a wonderful Christmas. Oh, Aman's tagging me. Marcy's here as well. Hey Marcy, I hope you had a great Christmas and a lovely new year as well. It feels weird because we had no stream for 2 weeks, but Christmas Eve was kind of busy and New Year's Eve it was quite a quiet one, but we enjoyed it nonetheless. Piper decided she wanted to stay up till midnight, but I think probably by about 11 o'clock Craig and I were a bit over it. We were like, we just go to bed. So I think we probably stayed up till about 1:15 midnight and then went off to bed. But it was lovely. It was really nice and it was quiet, but it was good. I am thinking I'm going to get crafty, and actually I know of a card that I'm planning to work on tonight. This is a card for Craig's Uncle Jimmy. Come and say hello. You very rarely get on camera.
Once I'm actually not in football gear.
I know. Yes, normally Craig is off footballing on a Friday night, but not back yet from the Christmas and New Year break. So,
what card are you making?
I'm going to make a card for Uncle Jimmy. Yeah. So, Uncle Jimmy was 70 last week on the same day as Ranger turned 3. It was his birthday last week. And I intended to make it beforehand, of course, but didn't. Because I've been a bit unwell, but more about that in a little bit. So Marcy says, we stayed up to watch the ball drop and then went to bed. Yeah, just right, just right. Well, I am going to work on a card for Uncle Jimmy. So Uncle Jimmy has got a fishing boat, and every time we go up to visit, we will normally go out on the boat and see if there's any crabs or any lobsters. So it's kind of a bit of a recurring theme now, I think, for Uncle Jimmy. Anytime he gets a card that has a lobster or crab on it. But what's not to love? Because lobsters and crabs are not only very cute, but also very delicious. So I think we're going to do that tonight. So I actually went ahead and did something, planned something before the stream, and that is this here, which you probably won't really be able to see very much, but here I have written the word Jimmy using my computer, just with my pen, and then I cut it out using the Brother Scan and Cut. And then above it, I have, hey Amanda, I have cut out, no, that's kind of a lie. I used the Scan and Cut to do 70, but because I have not used my Scan and Cut in such a very long time, it actually did not go all the way through, and it was just a few minutes before I came on here, so I didn't really want to mess around too much and do it again and again and again to get it right. So I thought I'll just use what I can. But what you will be able to see, hopefully if I zoom in, maybe, can you see these lines? So there is these like etch marks that you can't see, I'm sorry. So we've got a 7 and a 0, but I'm actually okay with the fact that it hasn't cut out, because what I'll do is I'm going to stamp on this and we'll color it in. This is the Heffy Doodle alcohol marker friendly cardstock. I'm going to stamp on this and color it in, and then I'll just use my scissors to guide me around where that etched line is, and hopefully we'll see if that works out. But here I've got the word Jimmy, but I'm going to color that in first and foremost, I think, before like popping it out. So I'm going to grab a marker pen. And I think I'm just going to go for like a dark color. I'm not really going to fuss too much over it. Let's grab an old notebook so that if it does bleed through, it's no biggie. So I'm just grabbing one of my Copics. This one's called Dark Bark. It's E49. And I'm going to rub this over the top. So this is almost like a way for me to remember all the things I have in my craft room. Because it feels like forever since I've crafted, and sometimes between the Christmas and New Year break, I actually get an opportunity to just get back to, you know, reminding myself what it is that I love to do and spending time to actually just craft for the sake of crafting rather than to craft for business or for a purpose. And this time I haven't been able to do that because I've been a bit unwell. I have been suffering a bit with nausea, and before you even say anything, it's not pregnancy. Believe me, I've taken enough tests just to double check. But I've been having like awful nausea for weeks, and then I had this rash in my arm, and then I had to get cream, and the cream didn't work. Hey Pam, hey Amanda, hey Marcy. So I got the cream and the cream didn't work, and then I had to get different cream, and I got antibiotics, and then the antibiotics gave me like a thrush in my mouth, well, in my throat. And then I had this like horrible taste in my mouth, and the rash went away. And then whenever I don't know, like a week afterwards, I had still this taste in my mouth, had to get dropped for that. And then the rash came back, and then I had to get swabs, and then the nausea kicked in, and I pretty much just since Boxing Day, I have been awake and sort of fine in the morning. And then as soon as it gets a little bit later in the evening, I'm like, have to go to bed. So, I got some blood tests done yesterday. So I'm hoping we'll get to the bottom of it before too long. So who have we got here? Michelle is here saying hello from Puerto Rico. Hello. So cool to have you here. Let me grab my stamps here. So here is my alcohol marker friendly cardstock. I have etched out a 7 and a 0 on here. So you guys won't be able to see that really for a little bit, but it'll all come together hopefully. So my idea is that I will create almost like, not so much a scene, but just like elements, so that it almost looks like the 7 and the 0 has been cut out of pattern paper. That's what I'm going for anyway. Hopefully I'll be able to make that work. I'm trying to position this in a spot where it's going to make sense what he is. There you go. Amanda says, hi Michelle, I was almost born in Puerto Rico. Really? Was your mama on holiday whenever she was pregnant with you, Amanda? Tell us the story. We'd love to know. All right, so I have my little lobster dude, and I might do one more lobster up top, so that I get more lobster fun. And of course my little crabby. And I'll put him in a little bit of an angle. I'm going to try and make sure they get both their eyes on the the letter. Just, I think it kind of draws attention to the face a little bit more. So that will be good, I think. Oh, he's so cute. All right, so I have my little lobster and my crab. There's a teeny weeny little starfish here, so I'm going to use that as a bit of a filler. The Navy shipped so Amanda's story is the Navy shipped my parents home right before, so I was born in Spokane instead, not nearly as warm and tropical. Did your mom go into labor and they were like, quick, we got a shipper? Awesome. Now, let's see what else we have. So maybe we should do a fish of some sort. Let's see, where do I have fish? I have fish in the warm hugs stamp. Little fishies. These ones are more realistic rather than fun. Suzanne says, Leslie, I was just thinking of you, and here you are. Hey, Suzanne. Hope you had a lovely Christmas and a good New Year. We had a lovely Christmas. It was quiet compared to last year. Last year we managed to kind of have a bit of a bonus for Christmas last year because if you remember, our friends Mark and Helen were supposed to go and visit their family, Helen's family, for Christmas. And they had been isolating in preparation for going and visiting the family. And then at the last minute, on like the 22nd or something, Boris Johnson was like, nope, sorry, can't go, no one's traveling. So poor Mark and Helen had been isolating, and they were like, oh, we don't even have it, like, we don't have any, like a turkey, we don't have any food, because we were going to be someone else. So we were like, come to our house. So we managed to get them to come over to ours, and we had an amazing Christmas. And it was the first time really in a long time that we had anyone over and hosted anyone for Christmas. So I was super excited about that. Right, what else can I do? Maybe Silly Friends. Have like coral and shells. What else? Otter side, maybe. I don't really want to put an otter on it because Jimmy's not a big fan of otter. Because when he's fishing and then the sea otters come, or the seals, he's like, well, there's going to be no fish now from miles around. So I'll put a little shell on it though. Lovely. Amanda says, Mom and Dad were stationed there for a year or two. Ooh, nice. Suzanne says, my husband got your mini die cut machine for Christmas. I haven't had a chance to use it yet, but I'm so excited. Yay! Do you know what? There's been so many die cut machines shipped out in the last month. So I think there's going to be a lot of people who are getting the die cutting machine for Christmas gifts. So I'm really excited to see what everybody thinks of it. Linda's here. Linda Shrimpton, hello. Says hello from a first-time watcher from Sydney, Australia. It is 8:17 on Saturday morning. And Jasmine's here too. Well, you're very, very welcome. We're loving having you. I am just catching up with everybody after the Christmas and New Year break. And I have for those of you who are just joining us, I'm making a card for Craig's Uncle Jimmy, who is a fisherman. He also stacks us up with some delicious treats like crabs and lobsters and all that good fun stuff. I feel like we're definitely missing something here. Maybe I should put a little otter in there. He'll either hate it or love it, but I think it'd be funny. Or maybe we'll do a seal. What do you guys think? Should we do an otter or a seal? That's an otter. Let me get the seals out. Seals are maybe a bit big. This little guy's tiny though. We could go for some like seaweed. That's always fun. Or the little, oh, that one will look perfect up there with a little pearl in it. Nice. So I'm using a bit of a different technique to normal today because I have used my brother's scan and cut to cut out the word Jimmy that I wrote myself, although you can use fonts and things, and then just using the fonts that's on the scan and cut. This, I tried to cut out a 7 and a 0 because it's for his 70th birthday. However, I failed to change the blade, so it hasn't gone all the way through, but I do have a guide here so I can see where it's going to be. Suzanne says, Amanda, I've wanted it for so long. Yay. You will love it. Right, otter it is. Pam has spoken. Pam has spoken. Joke. So let's see which one. Maybe this little guy. We'll fill up that spot quite nicely, I think. All right. So this is a fun way to actually do something different on your cards. And here I'm cutting out the 7 and a 0, but you could actually cut out words or just cut out a shape like a love heart and then do random things, random stamp images beneath it. That would also work. I'm a big fan of creating that faux pattern paper look. All right, I think that's probably enough. Maybe one down here. And if there's any gaps, like for example, there's a little gap here, I'll show you a trick a little bit later on how I will deal with any little gaps like that. I'm going to color some of these in, and then I'm going to switch gears and do a little bit of the background underneath where my 7 and my 0 are going to be, just to break things up a little bit, and hopefully it will, I might not struggle too much with the nausea. I shouldn't probably pop that lid when it's so close to the microphone. Apologies, that probably was not very pleasant. All right. So I'm going to start with my crabs, I think. And color these guys in. And of course, I actually only need to color in the bits that are inside the 7 and the 0. So Suzanne got a Hefty Doodle mini die cutting machine for Christmas. I want to know what you guys got for Christmas or what you bought for other people. Tell me all about the exciting things. I love to hear, and it also keeps me amused while I'm colouring in. I'm really excited about what I got. I was going to show you, but it's down in the bedroom. I'll have to get Craig to go get it later because I think it'll needs to be shown for full effect, I think. What else did I get? I actually got this thing from Craig's mum that is a hairbrush, and it straightens your hair as you brush it. So that's been really cool. I've been enjoying that. Pam says, I got some card stands to use at craft fairs to display my cards. That's cool. That is one of those presents that's actually really functional, and it'll really make your life easier. So yay. I bet you're really pleased about that. That's really cool. Very cool indeed. All right, got one of my little fishies there. I'm probably gonna like mix up my fishies. Let's do Mr. Lubby Lobster. Some blues. And Jasmine says, I got Hefty Doodle goodies. Yeah. Oh, and did you see I'm sporting a Hefty Doodle hoodie? We actually took advantage of a Black Friday deal and got some hoodies for the team. And it worked out because I was like, okay, well, I live in these. They're pretty much our uniform. So I was like, right, 2 for me, 2 for Morgan because we're full time, 1 for Marcus, one for Natalie, and then there was 1 for Craig because his last one, or the last time he made stuff, I can't remember. I think we had to give his to somebody else because we had a change in the design team or something. I can't honestly remember. And so I got him a grey one, and then there was maybe like 1 left over. So I said, Jasmine, quick question. If we were buying hoodies, would you like one? No. She jumped on that, didn't you, girl? So Jasmine bought herself a hoodie. All right. So I have darkened this guy up a little bit using, what is this one called? Blue green. How very ingenious. BG09. It looks more like a petrol green to me. I'm going to call it that from now on. Marcy says, love that color hoodie. So this one, actually, the last time we bought stuff, they had, like, on the back, it said, I like to party. And then in small writing, it said, if by party, you mean stay home and craft. And so Piper got one in this color, this lilac color. And I love it. It's so good. So I said to her, I think I'm gonna buy one the same color. Is that okay? She's like, yeah, then we'll be twins. So now we both have this color. I also got one which is a mint green color. Imagine that. So it's a bit like this, bit of a YG41, a pale cobalt green, I would say, maybe a wee bit darker. Very happy. Linda says, I love how you just so easily pick your colors. I procrastinate hugely. Yeah, I don't do that. I'm like, if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it's just a card. I think probably what helps, Linda, is the fact that you guys are watching, because it's that whole, you guys don't want to sit there and watch me for 10 minutes go, should I, this one, that one. So I, for your guys' sake, I just go ahead and pick something. You're welcome. And sometimes it doesn't work out the way that I intended, but on the most part, like, no one dies. On the most part. It's just the color. And so let's add a little pinky tone. What's that one? Pale purple. Well, what was a pinky tone? We'll do an R20 in there. Yes, so cute. Now, I heard that starfish can pretty much be any color. Is this true? Does anybody know if this is true? I wonder if that is true. Can add a little bit of brown to this fish, but not a lot, because this is like a funky town kind of fish situation. So add a little bit of that brown, which is E31. So we'll do RV10 now. A stripe down the middle. Yes, looking good. And maybe purpley tip. Poor Jimmy's going to be like, this is not really what a fish looks like, but we're not going for realism, Jimmy. Nice. Shells. Let's go for this one. It's like a greeny color. Looking good, looking good. And we'll take that green over here. Linda says they can be any color. All right, so let's go for an orange up here, because we haven't done that yet. But I think you can get ones which are like purple, green. Awesome. Linda, did you get anything nice for Christmas? Oh, he looks like a candy cane now. Let's color him out a wee bit more. Did you get anything nice for Christmas? What else happened now? Has Piper got a microscope? So that has been fun. What was really fun was on New Year's Eve when her tooth fell out, and with it, like in the tooth was like tiniest bit of like gum, like dead gum. And she was like, I'm gonna look at it under the microscope. So that was fun. Oh, my child. I enjoy coloring in some of the like shells and things with a light, like a creamy color. Like this one here is called Milky White E51. And then coming in with a really light blue or a really light like pink. I think that looks really cool when that happens. Let's go for a green guy down here. Nice. And I'm going to brighten him up a little with a little yellow. Oh, he's lush. I love him. All right, I've pretty much done all my colors over here. So I'm going to pop this to the side for a second, because my thoughts are I'm going to create a background and then put my 7 and my 0 on my background. Put my Jimmy right over the top. It'll be closer because I'll be able to overlap these a little bit. And then have a background. And I pulled out the, oopsies, Highlander stencil. Well, because he lives in the Highlands of Scotland, so I think that just has to be done. Put that over there for now. And I'm going to die cut out. Let's see, what color should we go for? I think we should go for maybe should we go with a light green? And maybe we could, let me have a little look. So he is a sangster. Is there a sangster tartan? Let me see. Is there a sangster tartan? No, this is showing me things that I don't need to see. No, I don't think so. Some are coming up with the reds and purples. There's too many for it to actually be one. So I'm just gonna try something, see where it goes. Let's see what we've got here. Grab a piece of card. And I'm going to use the, what's it called? Wendy Vecchi. I was going to say Dina Wakeley. Wendy Vecchi Station, which is a magnetic platform. It comes with these magnets and they're super strong. And I'm going to nestle all these things down into the corner of my mat. It's quite a fine stencil, so I'm going to have to go easy with this. And I'll go for a twisted citron color, I think. And I'll use oxides, distress oxides, because they're a bit more creamier. Lydia says, I answered for that. I got a microwave. Yay! I did, however, get myself my first ever Happy Doodle things just for Christmas. I'm waiting for enough time to make the stuff I have bouncing round my head. Oh yeah, that's sometimes doesn't it feel like, maybe this is just me, but I'm sure it's not just me. It feels like you either have 101 ideas and no time to make anything. And then whenever you actually have time to make things, you're like crickets, like tumbleweeds up there. Oh, there. That was me, like after Christmas, I'm one of these people that love Christmas, but then Boxing Day comes, amazing, love it. And then it's like the 27th, 28th, and I'm like, right, that's enough. The whole house feels cluttered. Just put it away. So I normally have everything taken down before New Year, or else I leave it to like New Year's and it comes down on the 1st. But because I spent so much time in the last sort of week and a half in my bed, in the fetal position, it never got taken down until day before yesterday, I think. And I had big plans to like go through Piper's clothes and to make sure that any clothes which was too small would be put to the side. Rustic wilderness. Let's try that to darken it up a little. And clean things. And yeah, it never happened. But then today, I was just relentless, guys. I was just like, right, cleaning this place up. Poor Craig was working. I'm still off until Monday, but I hoovered and tidied and pulled out a whole lot of stuff, one of the things that we got is a Ninja Foodie, and it's coming tomorrow, which I'm super excited about. But I needed to clear away the utility room because that's where it's going to live, and find a space for it. So we had an air fryer that we are retiring, so I needed to like clean it up and make sure it was free of any nasty greasy stuff before I put it away in the cupboard. So I was in relentless tidy mode today. Also, a little while ago, probably like 6 months ago, we got Piper a bed, just a secondhand one, like a high-rise one, but she was really not enjoying it. So I was like, right, let's just get rid of it. So I dismantled the bed. Today has been like a woman on a mission kind of thing. But I feel better for it. All right, so here we go. Oh, Suzanne says, were you sick or was it your back bothering you? I was sick. So they don't know what it is, but I know that I have an infection on my armpit. I think I used a razor that was probably nasty, or had something in it. And so I have an infection there, but there's something happening with my stomach because it's giving me nausea. So I'm getting tested, got a whole complement of blood tests, just to try and make sure that we've got everything covered. Wonder if this is enough. I might need to move over a wee bit. All right. So I have been sick and I'm still not 100%, but I am a lot better than what I was, thankfully. Let's see. Oh, I love it. I just love it. Just love the way you get that rush of endorphins whenever you pull back a stencil, don't you think? Come with me. All right, so we'll clean up my work area a little bit. I'm a stencil. And I'm going to alter this inked area a little bit more to make it more interesting. Linda says, get screened for Helicobacter pylori. Actually, I have been given a little pot. I've been given a little pot so I can drop in a stool sample. So just waiting on a movement. Yeah, I think that is probably where we're gonna find the answers, to be honest. That actually makes me feel a lot better having a professional say that to me, so that's good. Thanks, Linda. So I have pulled out a couple of pens here, and I'm going to add in some extra lines on here just to make this a little bit more interesting. So where we have these white areas, in fact, I think I'm going to go in with the green. These are pretty old pens. So before I start, I'm going to make sure that they work. That's good. So I'm going to draw a little dot in the middle of this line. And then join it up. And next one, same again. I think I went too fast the last time. It skipped a little bit. But that's okay. We learn from our mistakes here. Oh, H. pylori here is a breath test, says Linda. Interesting, because the doctor said, oh, we'll need to test you for Helicobacter pylori. So the nurse will give you a little doodah, a little tube to take away. So then, of course, what you do is you go home and you Google, oh, what is this H. pylori thing? And everywhere I looked was like, oh, it's a breath test. So obviously that must be what happens over there. But that like nasty taste in my mouth, that thing, because they thought it was thrush in my mouth, in my throat, because of the antibiotics. But the stuff that they give me to deal with that did nothing. So if there's a chance that the what's it called, creates a bad taste in your mouth, then because that's still happening. Okay, so we're getting there. Linda says that's such a great way to get those lines centered. Yeah, so the first time I did this, I didn't do the dots. You could use a clear ruler and then you'll be able to see a lot better. That's also another way of doing it. But I'm usually pretty good at eyeballing it. I'm not as good at making sure my ruler doesn't move. So there's that. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do to mix this up is I'm going to create a mask and create a little square, and then I'm going to add another color on top. So let me go and grab my stitched square dies, because I want the teeny weeny one, I think. So these are my stitched squares. This is a brilliant staple to have in your stash. And I'm going to see if I can find a little bit of either packaging or a little bit of acetate would be fine. You can just use cardboard, but I want to be able to line this up easily. I want to be able to see where it is. So here I have a little bit of acetate. This is actually some overhead projector sheet kind of doodads. So let's go and grab my A-plate. And put this on here. And I'll go back and forth a couple of times just to make sure, because the dies find it harder to go through the plastic normally, especially whenever it's a little bit thicker. Normally, oh yeah, still struggled a wee bit, but that's okay. We can take our scissors. Now, actually, sometimes I forget this all the time, but the die cutting machine actually comes with a plastic shim, which means that for things like this, you can actually run it through the machine again using the plastic shim, which creates a little bit more pressure. And it's actually kind of designed for you know those like really intricate dies that you can get, like lacy ones and things, and sometimes they can be a little bit of a pain in the butt to like line up, I guess, or not line up, to like get it all perfectly cut out. So that little bit of extra pressure helps a lot in those respects. Right, let me grab I think I'm going to go for, what is this one? This one is Abandoned Coral. Mostly because it's coral and that goes with my theme. My sea theme. Why not? Candy says, hey girl, here, I'm sick myself, so watching Not Chan. Oh, lots of love to you, my darling. I hope that you feel better soon. I hate it being sick, it's gross. Right, so now I'm going to attempt to line up my little square. Where these lines intersect, I think I'm going to do it there. You could kind of do it anywhere, like you could do it in the middle of the big squares or overlapping. But I just want to have that sort of tartan feel to this print, to this background. See if this will make this background a bit more interesting. Lots of get well wishes out there for you, Candy. We love you. All right, so add one down here. Probably won't catch it when I trim this down, but just in case. What do you guys think so far? Let me give you a close-up look. Looks so much different to what it did when it had just been this stencil on its own. So really cool. Lots of details. Making it look super funky. Let's not forget to wipe this down. Right, one more thing, I think, one more sort of line to go on this. I think I'm going to use yellow actually. And this time I'm going to go right in the middle of these. I've turned this so that these big squares are the right way around for me. And I'm going to go in the middle of this big square, right the way up, like that. And middle to that one, middle to that one. And if you do your dots kind of on the outside edges here, I know when I cut this down, it's going to be this sort of middle panel here. So I'm not going to really see that. And then don't forget to turn it around, do it the other way. Amanda says, love it. Beautiful. Can you guys see? think it looks really cool. Really fun. And definitely has that Scottish vibe. Right, pop you to the side and get my colouring in back on track. Take a little bit of water. Suzanne says, beautiful. Thank you, honey. So this is, what's this one? This is called Baby Blossoms. That must be a new one because I don't recognize that name. Blend that out with a little tea rose. Linda's flying off. Bye-bye. Got the wash on the line before the rain hits again. 90% humidity here and it's awful. Well, here it is freezing. So we are waiting on the big snow to come, which apparently is coming. So bye-bye. Thanks for joining us. Let's go for a little blue fishy down here. And we'll also add a little bit of blue to this guy. My stomach is growling and grumbling and rumbling. Hopefully you guys can't actually hear that. Doing somersaults. I hope Jimmy doesn't think that, hope he doesn't see this otter and be like, oh, blasted otter. He probably will though, but yeah, we probably get a kick out of that. Nice, cutie. It's gonna look weird for you guys because I'm only coloring the bits that I need to color, not all of them. Very cute though. Right, another lobster, and this one's gonna be more on the purple theme, I think. Bit more Mr. Purple. Oopsies. When did I with a little blue though? Looking good, Mr. Lobster. He's cute. Linda says, thanks for the fun. Hope you get an answer to what ails you. Oh, thanks, honey. Bye-bye. See you next week. 30 degrees C here. Oh, it really is tropical. Yeah, very different. We actually, so Piper had been booked in the week on the run up to Christmas, so it was like the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, something like that, we booked in to do some dry ski slope lessons. So we were really excited about that. And then at the last minute, they phoned. So we literally put Piper like kind of off to bed, more or less, I think. And the phone rang. We're like, wow, we better get off to bed because up early, need to get to the ski slopes early. And the phone rang and it was them. They said that they had a ski instructor was ill and that the first lesson was cancelled. And then the next day they phoned and they said, actually, the whole thing is cancelled. So we had to then be like, oh, what are we going to do? Because it was part of her, kind of part of her present. And we then managed to find a place that instead of having dry ski slopes, it has like factory made snow. I was going to say real snow. I guess it is still real snow, but it's factory made snow. And so we managed to book her in there. So we booked her in, and that was then between Christmas and New Year. I was too ill to go the first 2 days, but the last day I went, Range and I went. We ended up staying in the car for most of the time, but that was okay because it was really good to see Piper manage the slopes because she was definitely on the shy side the first 2 days. Definitely. But she did so well. I'm really, really proud of her. We know that it was something that she would overthink. Bless her. Such a good egg. Yeah, and we're booked in for a ski trip to France in March. So that's all going to go ahead. All right, we're down to the nitty-gritty here. Just a few bits. We've got a little shell over here. So what should we go for? Maybe I might do another greeny, maybe a greeny bit. Bring in some of those green tones. And then we have the top of one of these oysters. We'll go for this yellow. Why not? And this little guy. Maybe I'll bring in some of this brighter yellow here. Marcy says, love the colouring, Lesley. Thank you, darling. So I've made him bright yellow and I'll just give him a little dot of orange. And blend it out. All right. So now the exciting bit, and hopefully I don't mess it up. Let's see if I can put this in the light in such a way that I can see the score line. Excuse my head shot and my hair. I always feel like I have to cut it all the way to the edges, but I don't. Says Marcy. Yeah, me too. It's one of those things that you just get used to after a little while. I think there's something, I don't know. I think at the start it was like the purist in me was like, I don't want them to be lonely. I don't want this foot to be lonely. I don't know. Hey, here's my 7. Marcy says, Amanda, I'm making a light up card for my sister's 60th next month. Still thinking of ideas on what to make. Oh, yeah. That'll be amazing. I should have made this a light up card because even though Jimmy owns a boat, his actual business is electrician. Well, that would be perfect. Need to have a little light bulb in there with my with all my critters. Could always add the lighthouse, eh? All right. If I can get in this middle section. In fact, I'm going to change to a smaller pair of scissors, which I think will be a bit more manageable in this smaller space in the inside. Do you know what I had to do yesterday, which was kind of sad but inevitable? Morgan and I were booked in to go to Frankfurt, go to Germany for the Creative World exhibition. And it's been cancelled, sadly. I had to cancel my flight. I had to cancel my hotel. So sad. Roberta's here. Hello, my dear. How you doing? All right. So, kind of wish I had cut out another one of these so that I could have like layered it up. I mean, we might still be able to do that, I suppose, like on a border, but I'd have to do it. I'd have to cut it out manually, but it could still work. So here I have my tartan background. Here I have my 7-0. Let's cut down this using my imperial rectangles. So I haven't decided yet whether I want an imperial stitch rectangle or whether I'm going to cut it out using the skinny frames and then layering it onto maybe like a brown or something. I think we're going to have to do something like that. Okay, let's cut out this using the skinny imperial frames, which is going to give us a perfect mat for layering onto a piece of I'm thinking like either brown or might go for gold, might go for craft, I'm not sure yet. Let's stick this down here and here. And I'm going to trim this down a little bit and pop it through my Gemini. My Gemini. So big noise. Roberta says she's trying to get back into a routine. Yes, I think we're going to struggle with that. I said to Piper, because Piper's not back to school yet. She's back to school on Monday. I said to her, we're going to have to try and get up earlier these next few days. So yesterday we got up at 8:30, and then today we tried to get up at 8, but I think everybody was really struggling. And today she's just completely full of the cold, so she's pretty much been snuggled up with a big box of tissues under one arm like this, and a waste paper bin here, so all the like dead tissues in there, and just like a big red nose per thing, but hopefully get it out of the way before school hits back on Monday. All right. So I think we definitely need to make this 7 and 0 pop. Here we're going to trace around these. We're going to do it the old-fashioned way with a pencil. And then we're going to die cut it out. Not die cut, we're going to cut it out with a pair of scissors. I've got a brown color here to tie in with the jimmy. So let's die. I keep saying die cut. I don't mean it. So making sure that it's bigger than the 7 and the 0. And this actually has some texture to it. So I'm going to draw on the flat side and yes, I found a pencil. Like so. Oopsies, that one didn't work. So if I had remembered to do this with the scan and cut, I could have done this much easier, but never mind. So now I'm going to try and eyeball a border which is somewhat even all the way around. But remember, this is a handmade card. It is not mass produced. So it doesn't matter if it is not perfect. So you may have seen I drew an arrow on the 0 and also on the brown here. Because the 0 looks the same both ways round, but because it's been just cut out with a pair of scissors, it definitely won't be. There'll be jaggy bits in different sections. So just to try and make life easier for myself, I'm marking it which way around it goes. This border has magically gotten thicker. Trying to balance it so I can catch the light coming off it. Roberta says, sorry to hear Piper isn't well. Thank you, honey. I know. It's actually been a bit of a crazy old time between Craig's gallstones and all sorts of things happening. So for the bit on the inside, I figured actually it would be easier if I draw that on and then use my scissors to go around it. I just feel like it would be easier than, you know, cutting the inside is sometimes complicated enough. Having to remember to do the offset border. We got it. All right. So this should go like this. Ta-da! Roberta says, oh no, gallstones are no fun. For sure, they are not fun. Or Craigie had that joy. All right, so I'm going to cut this panel down now to 5.5 by 4 1/4. And it's going to go on the front of a note card. Oh, except I think I screwed it up. 5.5. Oh, that's fine. I was just overzealous. So it's all going to come together like this. So let's get a note card and we'll stick it on. Don't let me stick that one on upside down. That's the kind of silly thing that I would do at this part of the game. Marcy says, this is coming out so cute. I'm really happy with it. Especially whenever I'm like, I've been so poorly that I'm like, no, I don't really have inspiration. I'm sure you guys know what I mean. Some days you're just like on fire with inspiration, and other days just can't think. Just can't think straight at all. So when I was feeling poorly and lying in bed, I was going, what am I going to do for Uncle Jimmy? What can I do? Something that's a little bit different. And last week, Piper said, Mommy, I really want to use the scan and cut to do some vinyl. Do you think we can? I was like, yes, sure, no problem. And then that obviously kick-started some ideas. All right. This is going to go on like so. Louise is here. Bit late, didn't realize I was alive. Yes, I'm just wrapping up actually because I'm going to assemble my card. And then we're nearly done. So I've got my background here that I've made using the Highlander stencil, and then we added those extra bits using a ruler and some pens. So we're going to put our 7 and our 0 down first, aren't we? So I haven't decided yet if I'm going to raise up these ones. I'm thinking that would be fun. So we raise up these ones to get a little bit of dimension. I do also have my Jimmy to go on front, on the top. Of course, now that I've done that, the Jimmy doesn't pop out quite as much. Maybe we put Jimmy up top. What do you guys think? The other thing we could do is put it this way. I think I still like it like this. I'm contemplating. I like the Jimmy at the bottom. However, I wish it was on the lighter green. stuck is this? Can we turn you around? Please be cooperative. Yes, all right. We like it whenever things cooperate. All right. Let's stick this down. I'm going to offset it slightly so the 7 is a bit higher than the other one. That's okay, we can make that work. And then let's stick on our 7 and our 0 using foam tape. Suzanne asks, I forgot about Craig's situation. Is he all better? So he got a scan and the scan confirmed that he didn't have any stones in his common bile duct. So that means that it's not what they would class as like needing urgent attention. So he was at the situation where we could either wait and get the operation on the NHS or we could pay and go private. So he had got the scan privately, but this was back in November. We were like, well, if we do private, can we get it done quickly? And hopefully if we got it done before Christmas or in early Jan, then he would be all fine for the ski trip. And they were like, yeah, sure, but we don't know what our schedule's like, but, you know, get it booked in. So they told him to phone and the admissions team or whatever would take his name down and then they would contact him when they had a date. So they haven't contacted him yet. So it's very unlikely that he will be getting it before we go away in March. Because if he doesn't get the operation essentially by next week, then he won't be recovered in time for our holiday. So he will have to wait. Oh no. I'm gonna have to cut off Jimmy's Y, but that's okay. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Let's get some glue on here. Just a little bit of wet glue will do the trick. This is quite a fine machine cut letter or word, so just making sure I get my glue everywhere. So we could go over the top. I feel like I want to do this, but I don't think it's going to stand out. So I have to go down here. Now I mentioned earlier that if there was any like gaps on your faux pattern paper, that I would give you a little bit of a tip for what to do. And simply what I would recommend is take a color that is in your project and create little like polka dots essentially. So I'm doing a blue, I'm going to go ahead and do a green. If you have little itty bitty stamps like love hearts and stars, that works really well as well. Just ties it all in together. All right, so I do have the tittle of my eye. I can add on here like so. And I'll have to just trim away the bottom away. There we go. I think that's it done. You could, of course, add a couple of like bling or some buttons or something, but I think this is probably going to be enough for good old Jimmy. I think he'll appreciate that, and I hope he'll get a little bit of a kick out of the critters that we've put on the 7 and the 0. But here is a closer look at what we've made today. A little bit different from my normal style, but I knew that that was going to turn out like that because I was doing something different with this scan and cut. I hope you've had fun. I've had lots of fun having you guys here. Marcy says fabulous. Roberta reminds everyone, thumbs up please everyone. Thank you. Thank you. You're such a trooper. I'm going to go now and lie down for a little bit and take my medication. And I shall see you guys next week. Have a lovely week. Yes, I'm hoping also we might also get a live stream from Heffy HQ when Morgan's back next week. Hopefully we'll have something fun to share with you guys too. So keep an eye on that. If you haven't subscribed to the Heffy Doodle YouTube channel, you might want to go on over and take a look at that and ring the bell for notifications, because we do tend to go live, not so much in the last couple of weeks, but we try to do one every week or at least every other week, and we don't always plan it. It has to work around whatever else is happening. We've got lots of orders or big retail orders or big events happening, then we can't always do it, but we will try. We're trying really hard to making sure we get one in at least every other week. So ring the bell so that you're notified whenever we go live. Thanks again for joining us, and hopefully we'll have some answers in regards to my dicky tummy by the next time we meet. Bye everyone, Happy New Year, we love you all. Bye.